Today is Anzac Day in Australia and New Zealand, and this is, without any doubt at all, the most reverent day in all of Australia and New Zealand history. This is the day that marks both of our nations' gratitude and appreciation for those who gave their life in service to their countries. Now, that the meaning of Anzac Day has changed over the decades. By the way, I'll just let you know, for reference, I'm in my mid-50s now. When I was a boy growing up, all of the schools in town, in every town in Australia pretty much, marched in honour, in remembrance, in commemoration of that great sacrifice. Almost everybody, when I was a boy, had family which they knew who had given their life, man or woman, in service to the call of their country. But as I said, the meaning of Anzac Day has obviously evolved over the years. It did start out in remembrance of the fallen at Gallipoli, which was a World War I campaign. Obviously since then there's been World War II and Borneo, Malaya, East Timor, Afghanistan. There's many campaigns. Somalia, Iraq, you get the idea. And on top of that, for me, now this would be a point of dissension, I guess, from person to person, but to me, Anzac Day is a day of giving thanks and remembrance and gratitude to any who give their life in service to the country. So for me, it's no longer just military people. It's someone who's lost their life in a bushfire brigade, or a nurse, or a teacher, or a doctor, etc. State emergency service worker, the list could go on. But the point is, it's in recognition and remembrance and gratitude of those who have given their life for others in their community, in their country. When the country asks it of them, it's something that they willingly gave, and that is very humbling. And yes, we do have a good life. I'm very well aware of that. Many years ago, I had a terrible car accident which left me in a coma for 2 weeks. Left me with a brain injury, many disabilities as a side result from that, I guess. But with the good life that I have in Australia, most of those have been fully or almost unrecognisably resolved today. Yeah, I am still disabled, but I try not to let it stop me doing too much of anything. By the way, this eye patch that I'm wearing, it is a disability. I have lost the effective sight in that eye, and both eyes have that same condition, but it's not because of that car accident that I just spoke of. That's a separate issue altogether. Anyway, yeah, we've had a rough trot of things in the past 6 months, with losing our home, having heart attacks, having to move home, etc, etc, having the car blow up. But hey, we have a roof over our heads, we have food in our belly. Really, we don't have a lot to complain about, if anything. So I'm very grateful. And a lot of that comes to gratitude that's recognised on Anzac Day. Okay, so now we need to take a step back a bit and say, okay, Australia was not attacked in World War I. It was not our war. Some see that way, some don't. I'm not making a political commentary about that. It's just the fact that many people mistakenly look at Anzac Day. Actually, I'll rephrase that. It's not many people, most people look at it, Anzac Day, as a day of reverence and gratitude in memory of those who gave their life in service. There's a few out there. Again, this is a reflection of the times. It's been 111 years since the first Anzac Day. So, times change, memories fade, people pass, times evolve. No, Anzac Day is not a celebration of war or conquest or anything like that. It's absolutely it's not. It's a day of remembrance and honour for sacrifice from one man or woman for another bunch of men, women and children. Anyway, I digress. I've actually sort of lost my original point in getting sidetracked in conversation with myself. So I'll just keep going and maybe I'll come across that point again, something what I'm saying, I don't know. Anyway, I'll come back to it. We moved to the small city of Port Augusta. Today's Anzac Day. Every year on Anzac Day there are several services of commemoration. The dawn service to me is the most important of them, because go back to the instigator of Anzac Day, the very first campaign where Australian and New Zealanders and Turkish, many of them, thousands, lost their lives. It kicked off at dawn. So every year since has been a dawn service, commemoration of that, a remembrance. Now, obviously, not everyone was able to get up at dawn. Over the years, many of the original participants of the first Anzac Day services became hospitalised, incapacitated, geriatric, passed on their children the same, and their children the same. So the numbers of Anzac Day service attendants have dwindled over the years. That's the dawn service. However, they have laid on additional services throughout the day, which are more patron friendly, I guess. It's a good explanation, as good an explanation as any. You know, people choose to come, most people will choose to come to the mid-morning service. Now, I don't actually know where the service is held in Port Augusta. In almost every single town, city or in between across Australia, they have an Anzac Day service. Even in the small little community of Neperbunna, which is a tiny little village of less than 40 people, I think, where my wife and I once lived a few decades ago, or a couple of decades ago, they had a service for Anzac Day. I mean, it literally, across all of New Zealand and Australia, if you wanted one particular day to speak of the integrity of what it means to be a citizen of either New Zealand or Australia, that day would be Anzac Day. By definition, Anzac Day, or Anzac, is actually the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps. Well, as I said, it's more than that. It's not just about Army. It's about Navy and Air Force, and in subsequent years, bushfire fighters or ambulance folk, or you get the idea. If you've given your life in service to your country, police officers, this is the day for you. At least that's what it is to me. It's my day of appreciation, and many people in the community feel the same. So as I was saying, I don't actually know where they have their Anzac Day services here in Port Augusta. So I'm just taking a brisk pre-dawn morning walk, heading for a likely place, I think. I'll just adjust this camera because it feels a little bit wobbly on the... No, it's good, it's solid on the mount. Thought it felt a bit wobbly, but it's still solid. Yeah, the day has gotten much brighter, but it's still pre-dawn. Street lights are still on, headlights are still in use. And hold myself a stick as high as I can for a bit, because we're heading towards the top of a hill, and hopefully you get a little bit of a view. I suspect that the morning choir is about to start, and by that I mean the birds. Yep, you can starting to hear the birds come to life after their evening of slumber. Oh, I'm running late. The service will have started, but I'll hope I'll find it before it finishes. As I said, this is a very solemn service. Anywhere across Australia, every town or locale has a war memorial. As I said, originally it was for those who were lost in World War One. Then there was World War Two, and many subsequent campaigns since. And on top of that, there's been peacekeeping forces, such as in East Timor and Fiji during times of strife. There's been bushfires in Australia where people have lost their lives, given their lives, so that others can be saved. And it's about the bigger picture. Let me give you an example. In the smaller picture, the bloke whom you had a fight with on the footy field, or the girl who was the bully at school. You know, these are people you don't get along with, you don't particularly like, and they don't particularly like you. But, and this is a big but, they're a part of a community. Community runs on the backs of their volunteers, and those same people that don't like you and you don't like them will probably be some of the same people in the volunteer ambulance services in small communities or bushfire fighters, etc., that, you know, are willing to lay their lives down so that your safety or the safety of your family and the family welfare, etc., is preserved. And that's the bigger picture. And I know that I'm doing a piss poor job of explaining the significance of Anzac Day. I'm rushing about. I don't have a destination for certain. I think I know where it probably is, but I don't know for certain. I literally woke up, grabbed the camera. I had to have breakfast because I'm a diabetic. I mean, got to look after myself before I can look after other people. My wife and sister-in-law are still in bed. I gave the dogs an early morning breakfast and put them out in the yard and headed off. It isn't dawn yet, so I can hear it. I don't know if the camera can pick it, the microphone will pick it up yet, but I'll follow the sound. I can hear it, and hopefully somewhere along the way you will too. I really feel bad about missing this service. I've missed the start of it, but I'll be damned if I'm going to miss the finish of it. I'm getting closer. I might just shut up now for a bit. And that way you can enjoy the scenery as I'm walking, and maybe even hear the service as we get closer. But I'm getting more comfortable with speaking in public when I'm on camera. That gentleman across the road possibly thinks I'm quite mad speaking to myself, unaware that I'm speaking into a camera. Or perhaps it's just a level of self-consciousness, self-awareness on my part. But anyway, it is what it is, and I'm becoming more comfortable with speaking on camera. Again, I say again because this is not my first YouTube channel. I did actually start and have a much more successful, well, currently more successful channel. So I simply stopped that other channel. Which is quite funny because I haven't put a darn thing on that other channel for more than 10 years, yet it still has more subscribers than this one. And I find that quite funny. Even 10 years on, it's still attracting subscribers. Nothing new's been added to it. Humour. I've got to laugh at some things. The oddness of them, the peculiarity of them, the absurdity of them. So Port Augusta, as the name would suggest, is on the coast. And it does have a waterway that divides up the city. It's a port. It doesn't have a terribly deep access, so it's no longer a very functional port with regards to shipping. But it is a major transportational hub in terms of transcontinental traffic, you know, crossing the country from north to south, south to north, east to west, west to east, and anywhere in between. Port Augusta is on the southern coast of Australia, about halfway across the country, and we're near enough that you could say we're on the edge of the Simpson Desert. You'll notice that very few homes or properties have lawn here. And those that do have lawn, well, maybe calling it grass instead of lawn. That's a carpet. That bit of greenery there is a mat. That there across the road, I suspect that is lawn. I'm certain unless I went and had a closer look, but to get that lawn meant that the soil would have had to have either been replaced or treated. And the treatment for it, because of its sandy structure, would have meant turning clay through it and other soil improvers. So our house, our new home, it's on the northern outskirts of the city. And I'm very fortunate in that it's only a few blocks walk to my favourite store, Mitre 10, which is a hardware store for those that don't know. To get to that Anzac Day ceremony, which was at the city centre pretty much, that was a brisk 15 or 20 minute walk. And it's perhaps just a 5-minute walk from my home to Mitre 10, the hardware store. Home improvements / hardware store, so it's not just hammers and nails. Cars still have headlights on. And sunrise should have occurred a few minutes ago. Now, maybe it has. It's behind those buildings and houses, possibly. Okay, so for reference, I'm facing north. That's east. South, where I've just come from. And west. Sun has risen. It's behind that cloud in front of us. Very tidy looking house on this corner, but again, no lawn. We were living in the southern Flinders Ranges town of Corn, and the owners, we were only renting the home, the owners of the house, whom were living in Queensland, returned to Corn and gave us 6 weeks notice because they wanted to live in the house. Well, it's fair enough, it's their house. The only thing I feel bad about is we'd been there for 5 years, never missed a week's rent, never missed rent. Always looked after the house, never failed an inspection, and we were good tenants. And I feel that should have entitled us to more than 6 weeks' notice, but well, it didn't work out that way. But we have some lovely views of the Flinders Ranges. You'll see it shortly. In any case, trees are probably blocking the view now, but yeah, we're on the northern edge of the city. We have some lovely views of the Flinders Ranges, which is good because that's my wife's homelands. I'm obviously Caucasian. She is pure Aboriginal of the Adnyamathanit tribe, and the people, the Adnyamathanit people, well, that literally translates to rock people. They belong to the Flinders Ranges, and the Flinders Ranges is ingrained in them.